welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So tell us a little about yourself. What's your story?
Well, I was born in Germany to two military parents, and I spent my formidable years kind of in and around Army bases in that community. We had a house right off of the base. It was in a German neighborhood, but it was right there, so I could walk on base at any time.
Did you learn anything about what it meant to be a man while you were in these military bases?
I think it taught me strength, and it was all types of strength. The heart of like male strength and actual physicality. Weightlifting and fitness became very much a part of my life. And so I spent a lot of time in the gym and around gyms because of basketball, because of fitness. The military was a very masculine environment to be around, especially whenever I got older. As far as basketball competition, I interacted and played basketball with soldiers. There was a lot of bravado and testosterone, but then also, you know, some of these people were actually going off into real military conflicts.
Right.
And, you know, having real armed engagements and things like that. And these are people that, you know, I interacted with on a regular basis.
Was there any limitations that you found that these men or people had regarding masculinity, like where you found this strength, but was there limitations on vulnerability?
Well, you're surrounded by guys stuff, you know? Guys having beers after playing basketball games, whatever. I remember like 13 to 14 and just like, oh, kind of like, all right, I guess that's what we do. We like have beers after the game or whatever. I wasn't drinking, but I just sat there and just watching how these guys interacted and moved.
Who is your father to you? I mean, tell us a little bit about him and your relationship to him.
My dad was like the guiding force behind my life. I have two really great parents. And I love my dad since day one. To see my father in a military uniform and to come around in his fatigues and things like that, he definitely instilled a lot of confidence in me. And then having him be there, you know, 6'3", very, you know, just physical presence and just, you know, strong military dude like behind me. I always knew he had my back.
What was his relationship to his father?
My father did not have a relationship with his father. I think to this day they've met 3, maybe 4 times. I know the second time my dad met him, I was 12. And that was my first time meeting my grandfather. My dad carries it. He don't talk about it though. But I asked my dad, did he want to have closure? And he said no. Basically, you know, he's made it to where he's made it in his life to this far, and he just dealt with it however he's dealt with it.
Yeah.
It's very interesting though, because my grandfather raised 3 other children. They have a very loving relationship with my grandfather. My uncle is always trying to pull my dad in, and my dad is just like, it's different for me.
Well, how do you think that affected his way of raising you?
It was important that he was around and involved. I mean, obviously he was in the military, so at times he wasn't, but it was important that even when my mother had seen him and my mother split, it was important for him. He wasn't never gonna go nowhere, for sure. I always knew he was gonna be around.
Because you speak very highly of your father, and I'm really curious now that you're a father now, 14 years, what shortcomings did he have with you growing up?
The fact that he and my mother broke up early in my life.
You see that as a shortcoming?
I don't necessarily know if I see it as a shortcoming, but it's something that happened. My parents sat me down one day when I was 4 years old and asked me who I wanted. They were divorced, they were splitting up, and who did I want to go with? Yeah, it bothered me. I mean, even literally that question bothers me to this day.
Who did you pick?
I picked my mother. 'Cause I felt like if I picked my father, I would have broke her heart.
Did you want to pick your father?
I kind of wanted to pick him, but I couldn't pick him. It's just, you know what I mean? You talking about masculinity, little boy, it's my mom. Like, what's she gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, I knew she would be completely torn up. So I didn't think it was fair, so I already knew what it was. Like, I'm going with my mom. Like, as a little boy, that's what I felt like I had to do.